Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Cam here, Senior National Training Manager at Diode LED. This is going to be our next reel-to-reel. Reel-to-reels are monthly, 15 minutes with a little bit of a lot of time at the end for questions. Usually these are going to be on a single product or a product family of sorts. The idea of this is a deep dive into these products, being able to go a little bit farther than the normal a lot of time I have to train on each product. Last reel-to-reel is actually up on YouTube. All of our reel-to-reel videos are up on YouTube right now, the new Diode LED YouTube page. The last one we did was the STREAMLITE Family, and this one is going to be on the STREAMLITE Family editions. So we've added 2 new STREAMLITE platforms, and then we also have some stuff coming down the pipeline in 2025. So let's get over to the slides here. We'll start breaking it down. All right, the iconic Diode LED reel-to-reel logo. This is going to be on STREAMLITE Family. As you know, STREAMLITE is a Dotless tape light. It is what's called a chip on board, or you might see it in the industry as COB lighting. And really the difference is most tape light traditionally is what's called a SMD, surface mounted diode. And that is where they pour the individual phosphor over each LED chip. With STREAMLITE, we are using about 1/4 of the size of an LED chip, and we layer it all the way down the entire printed circuit board, and then we pour what's called a continuous pour phosphor over the entire run. So what's amazing about this, it's tape light in every way. It's flexible, comes in a wet located form factor. You can cut it every 2 inches. It works with our connectors, the static white. It looks beautiful in our actual channel profiles, but you get that beautiful dotless diffusion. So let's talk about the additions today. Really excited about this. I'm going to kind of hammer this home today on this reel-to-reel. Dotless is the future in lighting. People no longer want to see the dots anymore. They don't want to see the hardware. They don't even want to see where their lighting is coming from. That's why indirect lighting is so popular. Integration into the architecture. Linear lighting utilizing tape light solutions is the future. You can now customize the dimensions to fit into any type of architectural detail. It's low profile, minimalistic design, small apertures, but this is where the trend's going, is dotless. So as Diode LED, we are always trying to be on the bleeding edge of technology, so we wanted to make sure we get ahead of this and have a very robust dotless platform. This is just a little snapshot of STREAMLITE, showcasing it both in a channel with half the lens and half not, also showcasing it with our terminal blocks as well as our more dynamic RGBW STREAMLITE. So one of the new ones, this is not, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but we did just recently come out with STREAMLITE Wet Location. And so we do have that. Sorry, we've had it. I mean that we added a couple new CCTs and things like that. So just keep that in mind. We do have that. But I really want to focus on these next 2 family editions. So STREAMLITE Warm Dim. I'm going to showcase it over camera, but I have to tell you, get a sample in hand. The camera will not do it justice. This is one of my favorite warm dim linear lights I've ever seen. It has a beautiful glow and still achieving that dotless diffusion. So let's take a look at the specs. Again, always, you still get that uniform diffusion, but then it's producing this really beautiful dotless warm glow dimming effect. It's really beautiful both in a channel and without a channel. As you can see here, this is what's crazy about STREAMLITE is you have 170 LED chips per foot. So you can see we're using a lot of LEDs, and this is why if you ever wonder why the max run is only up to 16 or 20 feet, that's because of the amount of LED diodes. It's pulling too much amperage. We are working on this problem. Maybe in the future we'll be able to expand the max runs. You can still get it very bright. It's just you don't have as long of a max run. As always too, with our STREAMLITE family, and what's made it so popular is that 180-degree beam spread. So typically with regular tape light, you get about 120 degrees. And actually, Ted, I'm going to show this on the top down really quick, just to showcase it. So if you notice on STREAMLITE, if you ever take a normal tape light like Blaze or Valent and you rub your finger across it, it's kind of scrapey. You can feel the diodes protruding, and then they pour an individual phosphor over each LED diode. If you ever notice on STREAMLITE, you get this beautiful raised phosphor. Okay, notice how it's really more protruded. So what's awesome about this, instead of getting 120 degrees, the light actually comes straight out the sides to make 180 degrees. The best way I can explain this is STREAMLITE is going to get you out of every single type of bind that you could possibly get into on an application or a project. So if you have shelves that are really close together, not much room for light dispersion, don't worry about it. STREAMLITE, you're going to get instant dispersion of light across the entire shelf. Versus, let's say I take a normal tape light that's on 120 degrees. If I lit it up right next to STREAMLITE and you started moving it, okay, it's what's called a harsh cutoff of light. It's where you can see the borders of the light move. Okay, and that's fine for certain applications, but when you need instant dispersion with STREAMLITE, when you move it like this, you can't even tell where the light ends and starts. It's just complete dispersion across the entire surface area. This is why I'm a big proponent of STREAMLITE for almost every type of application, everything from under cabinet, in cabinet, above cabinet, you know, even coves sometimes, to get that really nice glow and even dispersion across. All right. Going back here, we have a CCT range. Right now, we only have one range, a CCT range as of now, but it is the most common warm dim CCT range, so 3000 Kelvin down to 1800 Kelvin. We chose this CCT range because a lot of warm dimming downlights out there and other linear fixtures, most standard is 3000 Kelvin down to 1800 Kelvin. I do want to mention though, with warm dim, there is pros and cons to both warm dim and then maybe something like tunable white. So the pro for warm dim is that you get this really nice dimming effect as it glows down, and it's also a 2-wire system. So meaning that you can use it with a standard dimmer on the wall, ELV dimmer on the wall. You can also use it with our terminal blocks, our connectors, since it's a 2-wire system. I do want to mention when you're talking to your customers though, you need to be sure that they understand that the CCT is fixed to the dimming curve. So a lot of times what happens is a customer will go, wow, I really like that 2000 Kelvin range. Can I keep it there but dim it up? You cannot. Unfortunately, it will be at the lower dim curve. Okay, so the CCT is fixed to that dimming curve. Unlike tunable white, the con would be that it's 3 wires, so you have to have a little bit more of a robust system, control system. You can't just use a standard dimmer on the wall, and maybe just for on and off, but you can then choose whatever CCT you want and dim it up and down. Like all new products that we come out with, we always want to test the waters first. So as of now, it's only indoor IP20. So only for indoors, but eventually we will be coming out with a wet located version. I'll give you an example. STREAMLITE RGBW, we released this, months ago, 6 months, maybe around there, even farther. It was it first came onto the market as only IP20. We just recently updated it where now we have an IP65 wet located version of the STREAMLITE RGBW. Okay, 24 volts, no 12 volt platform. You can get up to about 300 lumens a foot around there. And then I do want to note this is a 10 millimeter wide tape light. It's not 8 millimeters, which is what is common with Blaze and Blaze X and the static white STREAMLITE. And it's also not 12 millimeters like our Valent or our Valent X. Okay, so 10 millimeters, it will fit in 90% of our channels, but there are a few channels that it will not. You can always look at the spec sheet, either by looking at the tape light spec sheet or even the channel spec sheet, and we will give you the compatibility list of what channels it will fit in. We will also let you know that sometimes you can fit the tape light in that channel, but it has to be a solder. Sometimes we'll be able to tell you that you can do solder and terminal block together. Okay, and then 20-foot max run, and like always, Diode LED, first and second longest warranty in the industry for tape light. This is at our second tier at a 7-year warranty. So again, mention this is terminal block compatible since it is 2-wire. So just keep that in mind. As you know, with our terminal blocks, this is a patented connector that just makes it easy to do component systems. I have been in this industry for 13 years now. I have seen all different types of connectors, the snap downs, the clamshells, all of that. This just works. We use screws that have flat bottoms to it, so it's hard to pierce the tape light wire. We have a patented sled or platform that is within the terminal block that then when you slip the tape light in, the platform will be above the tape light. So this way you can crank down on those screws and make it a very tight connection, almost as tight as a solder, but the platform will block the screws from piercing the tape light or the wire. Okay, these fit in the majority of our Diode LED channels. Just to give you a couple of our more popular ones, the S2, the S45, slim, square, 45 degrees, etc. This is just a little example of the different configurations. So tape to wire, tape to tape, jumpers, 90-degree connectors, all of that. So we have all those options for you to be able to really create any type of design in any application. Recommended channels, obviously there is a lot of different channels that this will work with. I'm just going to give you my number one recommendation. After testing this out and seeing the different configurations, for me it would be the S2. So this is part of our S series. Okay, so we have the S1, more low profile, S2, and S45, which is more of a angle channel. Reason why I like the S2 is that the lens is a little bit farther away than from the tape light than the S1. So this is great for direct view as well. So S1, no problem with using it, but you won't be able to use a terminal block, so it will have to be a solder. If it's in direct view for any reason, meaning that you can see the face of the lens, it will have some dotting specifically when you go down, because we did have to use larger LED diodes a little bit for the warm dim, but the S2 is beautiful for both indirect and direct view. It's also very, very cost effective. The reason why is we don't have finish options besides aluminum, and we don't have a lens option besides frosted. Okay, recommended driver, very simple. This is the aspirin to your headache, OmniDrive X. It is by far the best driver on the market. It's hard to get excited about drivers. It's like customer service. Everyone tells you they have good customer service until you prove it. Okay, same with the driver. Just use this. It might be a little bit more costly than other drivers, but the first thing that's gonna go wrong on a job is the driver. This is has the largest compatibility list I've ever seen. It's a universal, TRIAC, ELV, and 0 to 10 volt. No minimum load, no maximum load. It has a beautiful dim rate all the way down to 0.1% with certain types of our tape light. Love this driver. I would use this not just for the warm dim STREAMLITE, for anything that is 2-wire. Anything that's 2-wire, go with the OmniDrive X. Okay, I want to demo this really quick and then we'll get on to the last one. All right, so I want to showcase first what it looks like close up. So you can see here, it still has that nice raised phosphor. Okay, again, only 2 solder pads because it's 2-wire, and it's just a little bit bigger than the static white. And then I'm going to showcase this both in a channel as well as outside of the channel at the same time here. So we're going to go like this. Ted's going to help me out here a little bit, so like that. So this way you can showcase it. Now, it's always hard to get this over camera, but in person right now, it is completely diffused within that S2, and I'm going to dim it down. And you're going to start to see it's going to really get a nice glow at the very end. So it's, again, get this in sample in hand, because what I love about the STREAMLITE warm dim is that it has a really beautiful amber glow that a lot of times other warm dim platforms can get wrong at the very low CCT. And so I think we did the engineering that went into this was very, it's exceptional. It's one of my favorite warm dim products I've seen on the market. All right. To the last section here, we wanted to come out with a Pixel Dotless platform, and here's the reason why. Pixel, the reason why it has not taken off as much in the traditional lighting industry is because, yes, it is cool to see the dots being able to chase each other, that you can individually address either a single diode, 3 diodes, or 6 diodes. On average, that's usually the standard in the industry. The problem is you're still seeing the dots chase each other unless you have a very deep recessed cavity type of channel extrusion, where the lens is very far away from the tape light. So we wanted to be able to come out with something that you could use in low profile channels or by itself and have good pixel chasing, but in that Dotless platform. So I want to showcase this. This is a little video. Is it coming up? Yep. Nice. So just showcasing a little video that Ted created, kind of just showcasing the different colors. This is something I need you to get a sample of in person. I have seen a lot of Pixel out there. The vibrancy of this, and that's the warm dim. I actually forgot that that's on the video too. It's cool to see. A little bit better than through the video camera. But you have to see it in person. The vibrancy of the colors, specifically non-pastel colors where we take the white out, it's absolutely gorgeous. So definitely get a sample in hand. Check this out. You're getting that still uniform, diffused, dot-free, dynamic pixel patterns. Okay, it more looks like, when you check it out, it's more like water flowing in a way, or crashing into itself, versus just seeing individual LED diodes chasing each other. You can see here we really went all in on this. 273 LED chips per 1 foot section. So that is a lot of LED chips. This is to be able to create that really unique type of pixel chasing. Again, like I said, almost more like water flowing into itself versus just individual dots. You still get the 180-degree beam angle. You still have a 90+ CRI. As of now, like I said earlier, we are starting out with just an indoor IP20 only. With the wattage, you can get up to about 225 lumens a foot. Just keep in mind that is with all the colors on and the white on. This is only 24 volts. The reason why I want to bring that up on this is because a lot of times with Pixel platforms, they will have the option of 12 or 24. We really are pushing the industry towards 24, so we kept it there. It is a little bit wider. It's the same size as Valent or Valent X, so 12 millimeter tape light. So again, fits in most of our channels, but there are a few it doesn't. Like, I'll give you one example, the slim recess, our very skinny recess channel, it will not fit in there. Cut points, 4-inch cut points. So you don't get the typical 2, but it's 4 inches to still give you a lot of flexibility. Max run 20 feet, 7-year warranty, okay? And then recommended channel, almost all of my dynamic types of lighting within tape light, I almost always recommend our 16 millimeter channel. It is absolutely gorgeous with anything like RGBW, Tunable White, specifically for direct view. You're not going to get any of that dotting. When you see it in direct view, it looks beautiful. Has a raceway on the backside as well, so that if you're doing this in direct view, you want to surface mount it to the ceiling or to the wall, you don't have to have the clips coming around it. You can hide all of the wires below in the raceway, as well as the clips will hide behind the raceway, so that aesthetically, in direct view, you won't see any of that hardware. Okay, with the 16 millimeter, we offer it in architectural frosted and an opal. Architectural frosted, as of right now, it's only in aluminum. We can get the black finish, but stocking, it's only in aluminum. I strongly suggest doing the architectural frosted and not the opal. This is one of the last channels we offer opal in at all. We are trying to phase out opal. It has weird color shifts and all that stuff, so very strongly suggest doing the architectural frosted. Recommended driver, very simple. It is a constant voltage driver. So what we mean by constant voltage is it's a non-dimmable driver. And the reason why is anything that is 3 wires and above, which I consider color changing, because even tunable white, which is 3 wire, you're still changing the color of the white. Anything 3 wire and above, you need a constant voltage driver, because when you use a more robust control system, it wants to dim on the control side. If you have a dimmable driver, it will fight each other, and you will have very inconsistent dimming curves. It will look like it will shut off halfway through. So the number one constant voltage driver I recommend is the VLM, okay? We have a patent pending on this. It's very skinny in size. It's great, for example, for COBs when you want to house the driver up into the COB. We also have a few other constant voltage drivers as well, like a partnership with Meanwell. They have a bunch of different constant voltage drivers that are more on the commercial side, but this is definitely my number one recommendation. Okay, let's demo this out, and then we'll open it up for questions here. All right, so I'm going to showcase this in the 16 millimeter channel. As you can see here, right, nice spacing away from the tape light. So I'm going to grab this. Let's get this plugged in here. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to actually use this one. Sorry, bear with me here. A lot of wires flying around. Okay. All right, so I'm using a pretty basic control system. I'm going to go like this, and let's put it in this as well. And I'm going to slow it down here in a second. All right. Sorry, bear with us here. We're just making sure we can get this as visually close as possible. All right, boom. Grab this right here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to slow this down a little bit. So this is what we would call chasing. Okay, so you can see it there. So instead of having individual dots, you can see how it's more of a full, like a section of light going through. You can do a bunch of different things like this, where you can have it on the entire time, but it's still chasing. And let me slow that down to see if I can get it better on camera. Okay, so you can do some really fun things like this, where it's kind of chasing, but then also going up and down in fluctuation. Again, it's hard to see this over the camera, but a beautiful color mixing with this STREAMLITE Pixel. And you can see here with that 16 millimeter, you're getting no dotting whatsoever. It's completely homogeneous, evenly lit from the edge of the lens to the edge of the lens. So this is a very basic control system that we're using just for the sample, but when you utilize a more robust system, either DMX or some type of like Avitech SPI type of control system, you can do some very, very unique dynamic scenes for your projects. So awesome. All right, let's send it off here. Grab this. Mounting awareness, I'm just going to always hammer home on this. We will have this up online so you can check this out. I won't go too much into detail on this, but these are the basics on when you are installing tape light and channel. I have recommended tools that we can help you with, where instead of having to push down the tape light and adhese it to the channel, you can have these seam rollers that you can roll all the way down, make installation very, very easy. Basic things like this. Don't turn on the spool of light when it's still in the spool. It's going to burn itself up and damage the phosphor. Don't crease the tape light. Don't bend it more than 4 inches. You get the drill. Just the mishandling is probably our #1 way we see issues in the field, is just from simple mishandling. So last, I want to end it off on this. I'm going to hammer this home. I really do believe Dotless is the future. Okay, so this is the STREAMLITE, as of today, current portfolio. So we have STREAMLITE Static White, okay, STREAMLITE Colors, okay, this is really static colors. We have STREAMLITE Tunable White. We have STREAMLITE RGBW. We now have STREAMLITE Warm Dim. And then we also have STREAMLITE Pixel RGBW, okay? And then STREAMLITE RGBTW is coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. RGBTW just really taking the next evolution of giving your customers more controllability, because that's where the trends are going. Your customers want control over their lighting. They want to have better dynamic systems. So RGBTW is just taking RGB and Tunable White and integrating them together, so you can mix any colors you want. You can mix any type of whites back into the colors. You can switch over the Tunable White and do any type of CCT you want. Really, the sky is the limit, and this is where the future is going. In my opinion, is in the future, you're going to see Dotless light engines across the board, and you're going to see more dynamic things like RGBTW being utilized much more often in projects. It's just really right now, it's the technology and the hardware that goes with it. Obviously, it's a little bit more expensive. Over time, it will become engineered more and come down in price. Before we get to questions, I always want to just hit it home, right? We have the new training section on the Diode LED website. This is brand new. We are working on actually having a training tab. But as of right now, it lives under resources. So if you go and hover your mouse over resources, you can check it out. This will bring you to where you can check out factory training and what we have to offer with factory training, all the dates, the agendas, what we go over in factory training, the reel-to-reels, okay? And then you can find those on YouTube as well, all the past reel-to-reel recordings. Also, our quarterly virtual specifier training. This is not just for specification. We just call it specifier training because we go really into the weeds and deep dive into the technical specs of these different products. These are hosted quarterly, and they're about 45 minutes in length. So this is just showing you just a little example of the section on factory training. You can click that, and then it will go to this really awesome landing page that showcases videos and pictures of factory training. And then another new update, we used to have a YouTube page that was Elemental LED. This can be confusing to people. Some people only know us by Diode LED. We just updated it, so this is the brand new Diode LED website. Check it out. We have all past reel-to-reel recordings. We have things like the Light Lab series that goes into hands-on installation and assembly. We came out with a new series called Why It Matters. So we do things like why CRI matters, why IP matters, why lumens matter. These are amazing 3 minutes, very digestible videos that you can utilize for even your customers. The person that's a homeowner who barely knows anything about light, you can showcase this, send it to them, and by the end of it, they can see why it matters to have good light quality. So I went over a little bit on time, but we'll end it here. All right, with that, I'm going to end it here. I'm Cam again, Senior National Training Manager at Diode LED. This reel-to-reel will be uploaded to our YouTube page in about 2 weeks, so be on the lookout for that. Again, you can see all the past recordings. I strongly suggest checking it out. out. We have come out with a lot of new content, a lot of new training videos. Really check out that Why It Matters series in the Light Lab. And then we'll be ending off the year here in December with our last reel to reel, but we will be continuing this series through 2025. So after the last reel to reel, we will be updating the landing page. So everyone who's already registered will just be in on 2025 anyways. And then we are going to try to have a laundry list of all the different products for the entire year. We are coming out with so many new products next year. I mean, really, it's insane how many products we're coming out with. New extrusions, more dynamic lighting, you know, higher output linear flex, tunable white linear flex, and RGB, all of these beautiful things. So I'm very excited about it. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you on the next one.